Evening and welcome to our big match preview show. Notts County against MK Dons. Fourth plays third. Notts go into the automatic promotion places if they can beat MK Dons on Tuesday evening. Mark Stallard joining me this evening to preview that one. We've had the team news or team availability come in from Martin Patterson early today. The good news, Jodi Jones is fit. Rod McDonald is fit. Matty Palmer's had an injection, medial ligament in the knee, 2 weeks away. But on the more negative side, Pato is saying the squad continues to be ravaged by the flu. Never seen anything like it, he says. Whoever's fresh and got the energy will be playing. Are you fresh and got the energy still?
Not for about 20 years, no. Absolutely not. And I've not got flu, touch wood, he says.
Also, it's been confirmed, as we'd expected, Tyrese Hall has got a 3-match suspension and he's in his own inimitable style. The manager has said Tyrese will be, and I quote, running a lot in the next few weeks. There you go. Tyrese got something to look forward to between now and Christmas. Ahead of MK Dons, Martin says, I see them as another team. We have to be the best version of us, be positive and show real intent. And like we've often discussed, Pato is of an opinion, 12 teams will all be rubbing their hands with a chance of going up this season ahead of that transfer window opening on January the 1st. News 2, Jim O'Brien. Yes, we've nailed him down. It's taken a little while. An evening with Jim O'Brien, which myself and Stell are going to be hosting. It's Friday. Sorry, it's not Friday at all. It's Thursday. A fraudulent slip. It's Thursday, February the 12th, 7 o'clock start. Jim's coming down. For those of you who've been to our events before, the likes of Martin Allen, Lee Hughes and Radi Avramovich, same format. Should be a great night. Jim's got some great stories to tell about when we were relegated and then bouncing back. He's the only player that was relegated with Notts and got back into the Football League. Currently, he's coaching with Sheffield United. Get that date in your diary. Tickets are now available on our Magpie Circle podcast.com website. They're a tenner, early bird prices till Christmas Day. They go up after that. So dive in. Greza Maxwell's already got a table of 10 booked. So thank you to Greza. VIP table for him. Act quickly. We are expecting this one to go very quickly. We're in a new venue over the road, which is literally over the road from the navigation. It's underneath. It's a brand new specced out sports bar type. It's lovely. Underneath the big Jimmy and Cluffy mural. So put that date in your diary. Friday, I've got Friday on the brain. Thursday, February the 12th, 7 o'clock start. Get your tickets, early Christmas present. Lippy Jane's sorting a few out without giving too much away. Or if you are romantically inclined, as it's 2 days before Valentine's, you can buy your loved one an early Valentine's present, can't you, on the 12th, the Thursday. All this and more on our show tonight. Lots of messages to get through, which will come through shortly. Thank you, as always, to our official partners, JH Accountants, the Trent Navigation, the Big Shed, and Over the Road. There we go, Stel. 24 hours to kick off. Big one, this. Looking forward to it. 10,000 gate. You know, it's a shame in some ways. I like midnight matches. Shame it's not a Saturday, but it's got that kind of big match feel to it, hasn't it?
Yeah, it certainly does. Looking forward to it, as we say. I think everybody's, or certainly the bookies, pre-season favourites for the division, MK Dons. We've spoken about the size of their budget, that they're big spending, big budget, experienced manager who's got promotions at a higher level. Paul Warne 3 times with Rotherham. So, it's a tough ask, but it's the start of so we want to call it a big month, don't we? But we're not building them up to be Barcelona, Real Madrid, these teams, but it's a big month, a month that could see a bit of movement in the table. We see 10 points separate the top 14 teams. And you mentioned there, you alluded to Martin Patterson speaking about a dozen teams or more with the same sort of ambition as us. Well, at this point in time, absolutely they will have. 18 games gone, a lot of the season to go, nearly the halfway point, and it's all to play for. It could be a blanket finish at the minute. Now, I think everybody would sort of expect the likes of an MK Dons to come strong as the season goes on, but you just never know, do you? And League Two, like I say, everybody is fallible, everybody is beatable, as has been proven already by every team losing at least 4 games this season, being beaten 4 times, so at least 4 times. So, look. It's looking forward to a really good game, a really good month of games as well. And we all know the Christmas period particularly is an important time of the year. A lot of games in a fairly short space of time. You need to be lucky with injuries, suspensions, and things like that. And not at the minute, don't look like they're being particularly lucky with it. But hopefully this flu bug can disappear quickly. And get everybody back fit, because you're going to need the depth of squad. So looking forward to tomorrow night. I think it'll be a real good game. There in good form, but no better form than us. I think the form over the last 6 and 10 games is identical. Both teams have picked up 11 points in the last 6, 20 points in the last 10. So you're talking not a lot between the two teams at all.
Let's get a few thoughts from the flock. Derek Flowers was on at 1:42 earlier this afternoon. Hope the lads are on it tomorrow night and show Naman and Crowley that we're doing okay without them. Nigel Bosworth, let's hope we get the win tomorrow. It would be a great start to December, which we need. Come on, you pies. He says, Robert Minister from Down Under. I bet you're getting plenty of ribbon about the Ready cricket at the minute. Crikey. Morning all. It's 6 o'clock in June in Australia, where Robert has got up early, as he always does, to listen in. Looking forward to the match. Only had the cricket for my sporting requirements recently, and that's been a lot shorter than you might have expected. Martin Blaney, evening, gents. It's the start of a hectic month with some big fixtures coming up. How well will we fare come January? Evening from Sam Metcalf. Has anyone noticed that MK are using Dan Crowley for their promo picture for tomorrow's game? I did notice that. Do we reckon there's anything in that and that he'll be playing? We'll put that to Stell. He's been used sparingly by Paul Warne. I think might be a euphemistic way of referring to it. Not exactly sure Dan is a Paul Warne type of player, Sam. Richard Elvian, Jodi and Rod fit. Palmer 2 weeks away. That's the good news. But other players still out with illness. Evening from Edwin Roman. What to do on a free weekend? I went up to see Jules Holland in Glasgow on a Saturday night up via Edinburgh. Spotted one Notts home shirt and one Notts hat scarf combo. It felt like home. Donny Pie. Yeah, a few people do this where they go to the Christmas markets. Tend to be better than the English ones, to be fair. Donny Pie is visiting Nantes for a wonderful Christmas market. We'll miss the game as we'll be on the ferry home. Nice to land in Portsmouth with 3 points. Jonathan Hammocks, here we go. Evening, everyone. I'm really looking forward to Tuesday night. I've got my Sky TV sorted so I can watch it. Is that a dodgy stick or are you being legitimate, Jonathan? But I'd rather listen to it on the radio with Super Stell on the decks. It's a trendy phrase, Jonathan. Is hoping for 3 points tomorrow, says Jurgen Pie. Good to see that Jodi is available. Good sub to have to come off the bench. Part 2 from Jonathan. Avoiding defeat wouldn't be the end of the world. The win at Rovers has given us a massive bonus, not just in points, but morale and confidence has got to be high. Richard Hawksworth, Royal Marlow, still working out how much he's got to pay for his mansion tax. It's a big month ahead. Illness still in the camp, according to Pato. Good news that JJ and Rod are back fit. Jonathan, part 3. Finally, let's not be too respectful of MK Dons. They're in League 2 for a reason. And look at what we did last season against them. Let's go after them and take our chances. Colin Metcalf, after playing through illness and coming back from Bristol with the points, no one can doubt the commitment of our team. Let's reciprocate and back them all the way. They've earned it. Hardest game of the season so far, says David Dawes. Richard Elvian, whether DC is there tomorrow or not, we should sing as though he is. Last year, the atmosphere was relentless and helped us win the match. Evening from Kay and from Karen Knight and from Stephen Newton and from Ian Hayward. Colin Metcalf, I'll be happy with anything above 6 points from the next 5 games. Stay in and around the top 7 and then push on. Anyone can beat anyone in this league, so it will be tight right up until the end. Royston asks, do we expect a few changes Tuesday night with this bug going around? On that, we'll pause and we'll do a few more messages and catch everyone up. Stel, so Pato has confirmed Jodi Jones is fit. Rod McDonald is fit. And he was fairly unequivocal about that. He has traditionally rewarded players when they've got a result by largely keeping the same team. Clearly, you don't know how much they've trained, those two in particular. Are you expecting him to field a near unchanged side? We don't know the illnesses and what have you. Or do you think he brings back some of those players quicker than some people might expect?
Yeah, look, obviously the obvious caveat to that is we don't know who's suffering with illness and flu.
Yeah.
So let's put that aside for 1 minute. I think he's set his hat out, hasn't he? That you play, you perform, you win the game. But if you perform individually, then you keep the shirt. So I would imagine not too many changes on that respect. Obviously, we've got Tyrese Hall suspended. So there's one change got to be made there. And we spoke about that last week, whether it's Matty Dennis comes in or whether it's somebody else, don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But then you do have to factor in the real world if they are struggling, if there's players with flu and what have you, and players are going to be ruled out, then you have to imagine there might be 1 or 2 changes that he wouldn't necessarily normally make, but his hand is maybe forced tomorrow. So very difficult to try and predict without knowing who's suffering and how badly players are suffering. Very difficult to try and predict a team. But he has, like I say, he has kept, if you perform, you get a starting shirt. So if there are changes, I imagine they're pretty much enforced changes, where his hand has been sort of, forced because of illness rather than injury.
Yeah. A lot of talk. Pantomime villain Dan Crowley. I think he's been injured. I'm not sure he'll get any minutes tomorrow at all. They might have put it on a photo on social media. Aaron the man got half an hour. You expecting either of those two to have any say or much of a say tomorrow?
Well, one of them, yes. Naman, I think, will be involved. He played the last league game, started the last league game, and scored. And he was he was on the bench for the FA Cup. Now, remember the FA Cup, you've got 9 subs. Obviously, in the FA Cup, they played Oldham, beat Oldham 3-1 at the weekend. Dan Crowley wasn't in the 20.
No.
And he wasn't in the 18 for the previous league game. So he's either injured or just not figuring. So I don't imagine he is going to suddenly burst onto the scene for tomorrow night. But, stranger things have happened, but I don't expect to see him. Aaron Naman, on the other hand, I think he may well start the game. He was in the last league game. I think Paul Warren made a few changes for the cup, and they got the job done. So it shows they've got strength in depth. I think they brought Mendes Lang on, in the second half, didn't they? He scored a goal at the end as Oldham were chasing a sort of equaliser. But yeah, they've got depth of squad, haven't they? There with it, with the budget that they've got. But yeah, I imagine to see the man probably starting. I don't expect to see Crowley in the 18, but hey, I've been wrong plenty of times.
How big a game is this?
It's obviously a big game in terms of name and stature, and to really get a feel, to really give. If you beat a team like MK Dons, who are the bookies' favourites, big budget, all that sort of thing, then it gives you big confidence. Of course it does, but it sends a message to everybody, but also to the Notts fans that we are the real deal. There's this sort of lingering monkey on our back, isn't there, about not beating teams in the top 7 and not beating teams that are above us. Now, no, they're a point ahead of us, third v fourth, but it's a big game in terms of that. It's not worth any more points. It's still worth the same 3 points as anything else. So we as much as you sort of build it up and you get excited about it and look forward to it, because you look forward to it because it's two good teams, two decent teams going hard at it, and you expect it to be a good battle, a good game. But there's no more reward for winning it or punishment for losing it than the normal. So you build it up. We can build it up, obviously, but the players have got to look at it like another game, a game against a decent team, but no better than a decent team. A League Two team who have been beaten by 4 teams this season, so they've got as similar a record to us, except they've got a point more in the same number of games. So there's not a great deal of difference. They're not there to be feared. They're coming to our place, so they should be fearing us. They should be worrying about what they've got to do to stop us. This Notts County team that they've had injuries, they've not played brilliantly all the way through, but are sat 4th in the table. Now that could be a cause for concern for other people looking on the outside. If you said that about a team, do you know what? We've not really hit top form. We've not really played brilliant. We have in 45-minute spells and in certain games, but they absolutely battle it out. They don't give in. They keep going and they keep coming, and and they've got some grit and some steel, and they won't roll over. And you go into their place, and that's what we've got to set the message out. That's what the store's got to be. If you come to Meadow Lane, you've got to play unbelievably well to not get beat, not only come and win, but to not get beat, because we will be relentless, hopefully, tomorrow night.
Pythagorean, would be nice to go through December with a clean sheet every game. That's my Santa wish list. God blimey. I think you get pretty good odds from the bookies on that one. 5 games, 6 games, complete without conceding a goal. What else have we got? Mark Williams, Ireland pie, evening, Emerald Isle. A huge game tomorrow to start off December fixtures. 3 points, very welcome. Hopefully, we can get some momentum going through the Christmas period. What else have we got? Evening all, says Rosemary Mans. I can't wait for Tuesday. This is what I'd like to see. Luke, evening all. My Jim O'Brien ticket has been bought. Well done. You will certainly enjoy it. Thursday, February the 12th. I'm personally hoping Crowley plays for MK Dons so we can get a friendly reception tomorrow. Slightly tongue-in-cheek from Luke there. Dave Hartshorn, evening, Paul Stelland flock. Really looking forward to tomorrow's game. Gazali says there's a flu bug going around Lee Household Towers. 2 weeks, nearly over it. Should be on my bench in the Cop tomorrow. Rosemary Mann says, I've heard the flu bug is a strain from 1994, mainly affecting the young uns. Us oldies may have some immunity. Wash hands, keep tidy for Tuesday night. I'm trying to remember in 1994 whether I had the flu or not, Stel, whether I have some immunity strain to this one.
Right. I don't know if I've properly had the flu ever. I think I probably had it once. Proper flu.
Stel, don't say that.
Well, I know, yeah. Famous last words. That's giving me Christmas off, isn't it? In bed, that's it. But dear, tempting fate.
Then, Stel, where were you in 94?
Derby. I'd been at Derby. I would only been what have I been 19, 20. Yeah, still at Derby. I'm pretty sure I wasn't ravaged with the flu, but who knows? I can't remember that far back.
Okay, a 1994 strain. Essie Kent. Let's give the keeper a proper break and some praise for once. We should be behind all our lads, especially on the big games coming up. Yeah, MOM was Mr. Roos at Bristol Rovers. I suspect he might have a little bit to do tomorrow. Martin Shipley, evening all. We need to get our home form back back with a win tomorrow evening. Martin Blaney, in terms of picking the team, I think Jodi will be in for the suspended Hall. Colin Metcalf, let's not forget, the flu is not just confined to Nottingham. They may or well be affected too. Ian Haywood is reckoning it will be 3 points each from our meetings with MK. We will win at our place. They will win at theirs, he says, because we do play them in quick succession. One of the quirks of the fixture computer. We all play guessing games, Stell. I mean, one of the more interesting ones is MK Dons. We know they're a decent team, but we are at home. Does that make you more or less likely to play Dennis to play Dennis in the same starting 11 as Jatta? Historically, that has happened only very occasionally.
Yeah, I suspect in the modern world, managers and coaches will say it wouldn't influence them one way or another because they know what the team they've got in mind, they know the shape they want to play, and irrespective of home and away, that they will believe that the strongest 11 is the strongest 11. I think. If it was me, I think being at home, you would naturally say being at home would you've been slightly more inclined to play the more attacking option, i.e. Matty Dennis, than maybe somebody who's a bit more of a grafter, who can do a bit more defensively, help the team a little bit more work rate wise. A Tom Pender or somebody of that ilk, if you were thinking of playing them in a similar sort of position. So, but again, Jodi Jones becomes another option, doesn't he? Played there at the start of the season. I don't think it was a wholly successful sort of experiment, really. But again, we don't know how much Jodi's been playing with that knock. This sort of niggling knee injury might have been carrying that since the start of the season. We don't really know. Because this is something that footballers have all the way through a season. They have knocks and niggles and aches, pains that they're not enough to keep you out. You're not injured, you're not unavailable for selection, but you're also not at 100%. Very rarely is a footballer ever 100% when he goes onto the pitch, or certainly from my experience in my career. So we don't know how much he's been carrying that, but he's another option, and he's a good option. And the fact that he's available, the fact that Rod McDonald's available as well, nothing to do with that number 10 position, of course, but I think that is good, particularly if you've got illness sort of ravaging the club or going through the club, certainly in the dressing room. Then you need as many players fit and available and bursting with energy, as Martin Patterson wants to say, as possible. But yeah, you would say Matty Dennis would probably have more of a chance in the home game, if you like, than an away game. But I'm pretty sure Martin Patterson will know what he fancies doing, who the next cab off the rank will be in that withdrawn position. And I wouldn't be surprised if it was Matty Dennis anyway. To come in and maybe just tweak the shape a little bit. Just to throw a bit of a curveball to MK Dons as well. But again, it comes down to we don't quite know who's fully fit and available for tomorrow.
Yeah, you've made this point before, Stel, and I think one of the undercurrents that came through from Martin Patterson's press conference this morning. He was at pains to talk about the respect he has for MK. They are a very good team, but he was stressing and said, not in a derogatory way, I see them as another team. Yeah. You've made the point as a pro. Look, they ain't on a par with Wrexham, are they? When Wrexham went up through the divisions, they clearly had some teething issues getting as many points as we thought that they might, because I thought they'd be away already at this point of the season. Clearly they're not. So, as you say, virtually identical record to us, and we're saying, well, we ain't been brilliant, but we're doing okay. So.
Absolutely. And that's it. And that's the fear you've always got. And again, from inside a dressing room, and I'm sure it's the same now as it ever has been, that you respect every team. So if it was Newport tomorrow, bottom of the table, or MK Dons or Walsall who are top of the table, it doesn't matter. The rhetoric is still the same. You respect every team, as you should do, because as we've said many a time, this League Two is not so much about, what do you call it? you're not sure about what team's going to turn up all the
Yeah.
time, but every team from top to bottom have got a performance in them. On their day, they can perform well, but it's about that lack of consistency. And so MK Dons could have the best squad, or whoever it might be, could be deemed to have the best squad, the best players, this and the other. But if they turn up and don't play well tomorrow, and we do, we win the game. And that's the same whether it's Newport or Walsall or any team in the division, as opposed to vice versa. It works the other way as well. If we don't play well tomorrow, then probably MK Dons win the game. And I think that's all Martin's trying to say is that, you know, we need to be the best version of ourselves. We need to play well because this is a decent team, but it's no more than a decent team. It's not a team that is a given that's full of world class, international class players. It's full of decent League Two players, players that have played at higher levels, but also players that have off days and players that can be inconsistent and players, players that also can be really good. Really, really top level, and that's why they're in the automatic places. That's why they're in the third round of the FA Cup. I think have they got Oxford? I believe they've got Oxford. I think I just saw that before we came on air. In the next round of the cup, so they've got decent players. But that doesn't mean to say that tomorrow night, 7:45, they are going to be the best team for that 90 minutes. And that is the thing about a league season. It's about being the best team for them 90 or 90 odd minutes of a game for 46 times of the season. And the team that does it the most obviously win the league. So yes, you give yourself a better chance by assembling good players, having a good squad, good depth, and all that sort of stuff, good manager, good coaches. But it isn't the be all and end all. It isn't guaranteed anything. And again, MK Dons are a good team with good players, but no more than that. Notts County are a good team with good players, but again, no more than that. So let battle commence tomorrow and see who can prove themselves the better team for them 90 plus minutes. That's what every game is like. It's like entering the Colosseum, isn't it? To slay the lions, if you like. But you've got to do it time and again. You can't just do it once and we're a good team. That's it. We've got that label. We're a good team. It doesn't matter what happens. We're a good team, and then go and lose 10 games on the spin. That's not a good team. Good teams go out there and prove it time and again. And like I say, I've been paying attention to the cricket, unfortunately. But again, you hear all the talk about England being a good team at the cricket, but they're getting battered. They're getting battered. So that's not a good team at the minute. And it's the same with any sport, professional sport. And as we've said many times about many different things, it's all about results. Results tell you whether you're a good team or not opinions, not people's verdicts. Results. Go and show it. You're as good as your last game. That's it.
Yeah, results. Rosemary, having given us the insider gossip on the flu strain from 1994, said that I was listening to a professor on Times Radio. So I haven't made that up. I never for a moment thought you had. I've not heard that. It's quite interesting. If I go down with it, Rosemary, I won't be very happy. I'm hoping for a bit of immunity now.
That's running the spectrum of broadcasting. Listen to a professor and then listening to us two numpties. You're just dumbing down for a bit now, coming down to our level.
Colin Metcalf. Don't know about the flu in 1994, but I was at Wembley to watch us in the Anglo-Italian Cup final. Georgie Hadji scored Brescia's winner. Unbelievable, we played Georgie Hadji at Wembley. Crikey, that is what's that then? 31 years ago. Crikey. I'm hoping for a win double this week, says Paul Sills, MK, and then Grimsby on their patch. Andy Easton, we might also be battling the elements tomorrow. Storm. Trying to read, is it Storm Bram? You've said. I don't know whether that's a typo or whether that's the latest name for another storm. Sweeps through the Midlands. I must say credit to the ground staff. Pitch looked much improved for the last home game. Agrees Rosemary Manns. Ground staff are amazing, and I think that sliding on the knees should be banned. She says. And Rosemary says, as well as listening to us, I have a broad listening range.
She's not disagreeing then. She's not disagreeing. She's coming down listening to us. I like it, Rosemary. We don't mind at all. You're absolutely right.
A broad list. That's one way of putting it, isn't it? That's one way of putting it. Okay. I think I will be right. Well, my opinion, Calarusa's best game for Notts against Bristol Rovers. Is that a chance for him to relaunch himself a little bit now?
I don't know about relaunch himself. I don't know if he needs to relaunch himself. I think hopefully it gives him a bit of confidence. Um, Look, the life of a professional sportsman can be tricky. I know everyone, it's the ideal
Yes.
life, and absolutely it is. But it does come with downsides, and the
Yes.
downsides are you get told in
Yes.
no uncertain terms how you're doing your job. Right? That is
Yeah.
it. Now, sometimes
By
that
people that
comes with
haven't
an
got a
upside.
clue.
Not necessarily. They pay their money. They're entitled to their
Yeah,
opinion.
you know the
But
point I'm making. Yeah.
yeah, I know absolutely the point you're making. But you know, with that, you get well paid, and you it's the thing you want to do, and you're supposed to do it to a level. So there is also, it's a sort of an unwritten, unspoken sort of two-way street agreement, isn't it, between
Yeah.
fans and
Yes.
players? You
Yeah.
give us everything and perform to a level, we'll give you everything in return. So sometimes, like I say, for for no real reason, for no reason. It's not lack of effort, not lack of trying, not lack of practice, not lack of anything. You have bad runs of form, and that's whether you're a goalkeeper or an outfield player. There's no rhyme or reason to it. Sometimes you can. It's almost sometimes a case of the harder you try, the worse it gets. Sort of sometimes. So look, that is the way form is. And if you're a player, Keller's in his 30s now. He's had plenty of experience, played at a decent level, but you have good runs and bad runs. That is the nature of the beast. I think sometimes we forget this by watching some of the incredible players that we've seen in the modern era, Messi, Ronaldo, players like that who are almost machine-like in their
Yes.
consistency of performance. And we sort of, I said we expect that sort of level of performance, but we sort of expect that consistency from all players despite it being in League Two. So, look, and again, that's just the nature of it. You sign up for that agreement when you become a professional sportsman. You take that on. That's no surprise to anybody. Least of all Keller, who's been in the game a while. Um, and he'll have had tough periods before. Now we hope he can take that performance and come through it with a bit of confidence, bit of belief, take them fist bumps, and like I say, the atmosphere and them scenes at the end of
Mm,
the game were brilliant. They'll live long in the memory of fans and players alike. Again, it's only 3 points on the road, but it's the manner of it. It's them sort of bits that can harmonise, unify things, whereby he's played a major part in them 3 points in that memory, and hopefully, from that human aspect, that a few people will put him a bit more slack now. Again,
yeah.
I'll still, if he performs poorly, I'll still have to criticise him, and likewise, if he performs brilliantly, like he did at Bristol Rovers, I'll praise him to the hilt. You have to be honest. You have to be straight down the line and call what you see. And that's the same whether, like I say, it's me on the radio, whether it's a fan in the stand. You can't make somebody think something different about somebody just because you don't agree with them. I know we try it in the modern world nowadays sometimes, but that isn't the case. Everyone's entitled to their own opinion and their own reactions to stuff. Um, but again, from a footballer's point of view, that is just one of the negatives. It is one of the things you have to deal with, and he's not. It's not like I'd have far more sympathy, and I'd be looking to appease people if he was like an 18, 19-year-old goalkeeper just putting his teeth in the game. You'd be trying to say, look, hold on, cut him some slack, and I'm sure people would. But the fact that he is a seasoned goalkeeper, the fact he has this experience, and he's come in, expected to replace Alex Bass. That's not his problem, but he's been brought in to do that. You've got a weight of expectation, and as a footballer, like I say, you take that on whether you want it or not. Unfortunately, so like I say, the only way you can win people around is by performing. That's whether you're an outfield player or a goalkeeper. He certainly performed at Bristol Rovers. In the way we want to see him, we'd like him not to be busy. We'd like him not to be tested tomorrow. But again, in this month, you feel he'll have to play well. You
Yeah.
want your goalkeeper to play well when you play some decent teams. So, but that goes for everybody, doesn't it? Everybody in the team, we want them all to play well. But no, absolutely, his performance was really good down at Bristol Rovers. Say, as important as Matty Dennis's goal, for getting us all 3 points. So, credit to him for that. Credit to anybody when I say you've got when you're taking stick, when you're being told in no uncertain terms, you're not performing. You could only imagine. You can only try and put yourself. I've been there. It happens. It's not nice. It's not something you want, but you have to deal with it. And you try and put yourself in that position. If it really was you, being somebody telling you, screaming at you, telling you you're not good enough, how would you react to it? Would you be able to perform at your best? Would it make you roll your sleeves up? Or would you go into your shell? Everybody, every personality would react differently to it, I suppose. And it's down to the individual. So again, it's credit to him that he had the strength of character to actually put in that performance on the back of the criticism he'd probably received that week.
Rosemary Mann's full of an appreciation society for you. I love listening to Stell on the radio commentaries. Flattery will get me everywhere, I hope. And just as a postscript, Ruse was fantastic at Bristol. Kay says, if Richard Montague can get us some decent players in January, we are in the mix. So you've mentioned MK Dons into the third round of the FA Cup, played Saturday. We didn't. Does that make any difference? Should that give us an extra 2 or 3% tomorrow that we didn't play at the weekend still?
I don't think so. I don't think really. I mean, in theory, we should be fresher, but then you qualify that with the fact there's a flu bug going through the dressing room, and you go, we might not be.
Yeah.
Look, I know managers always say you like the days off, but honestly, from a player's perspective, you like games. You like games coming, particularly if you're winning. If you're at the top end of the table, games are what you want. You play a game every 2 or 3 days when you're winning and things are going well because you just want to be out there performing. Sometimes training I say it gets mundane, but it's like I say. It doesn't matter whether you have a good training session or not sometimes, does it? It's about games. It's about winning points. You don't get promotion by having good training sessions, but it can help. But, I'm not saying it's irrelevant, but, players are all about the games. That's what you want. And when things are going well, you just want games as often and as frequently as you could possibly get them. Now, okay, you don't have one for 10 days after the Bristol Rovers game, so that gives you time to maybe do a little bit of fitness work, maybe have a little bit of a breather. I'm sure they might have had a couple of extra days off if there's flu going around. They might want everybody out of the building, to try and stop cross-contaminating people and things like that. But they'll have prepared for this. At least they've had time to sort of prepare properly for this. Again, I say there'd be no excuses, but obviously a flu bug you can't really legislate for, other than it happens throughout a season. And as somebody said, there's probably as much chance of MK and other teams in the division getting a flu bug at some point, whether it's now or some point in the future, or they've already had it. It's just one of the trials and tribulations of a league season. You have to deal with it and roll with the punches.
Just changing slightly. Did you watch the World Cup draw? Did you watch the World Cup draw on Friday? Or did you not bring yourself? I watched every second of it.
Every second. It was in days and weeks and months when it went on that long. So I hear. I didn't watch much. I've seen bits of it. Yeah, no, it seemed a bit farcical from the reports I've read, but no, I didn't watch it.
Oh, bizarre. I mean, I don't know what the rest of the flock thought, but I mean, Peace Prize for Donald, and then
Well.
I don't know whether you're young. I don't know whether you're old enough. I think you probably are. Do you remember the Village People first time around?
I know of the Village People. I don't remember. Oh, crikey, me! They were in the 70s, weren't they? The Village People.
Yeah.
They are a bit. I mean, I was born in the 70s, but I can't say I was a big Village People fan. But I do remember the Village People. They did the YMCA, didn't they?
Yeah. So apparently, it's one of Donald's favourite songs.
Is it? Oh God!
It's reunited them live on stage. Honestly, you and me would have looked like teenagers on the stage with the cast of Village.
That takes some doing. Yeah, that takes some doing. But
I thought it was hilarious.
I've got to say, I've drunkenly danced to it a few times throughout my career. I know that was throughout my life. Yeah, there's been a few Saturday nights where there've been YMCAing on the dance floor, but I'm sure everybody has as well. Maybe they don't admit to it, but yeah, no. I mean that just about. I mean it just about sums it all up, doesn't it? That, but again, in this world, I mean nothing should surprise us, really, should it? At the minute.
it was quite bizarre. I'm not quite sure what Rio Ferdinand had done to be the main presenter, World Cup quarter finalist, but it was utterly bizarre, and in its own way quite funny. In its own way quite funny, I have to say.
Yeah. I
Three
mean, I'm old
presidents in
enough.
the room, three
I'm old.
presidents doing the draw.
Yeah, I'm old enough
Unbelievable.
to remember. You remember the American World Cup before the opening ceremony where Diana
Yes.
Ross missed that penalty kick in the opening ceremony. Are they going to recreate that? They're going to Donald Trump coming in on Air Force One or something, knocking a ball into open goal, or he'll give himself a peace prize again for that, wouldn't he, or something? But yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, when America's involved in something, nothing is off limits, is it now?
Oh dear, yeah. Colin Scott, Kedwin's dad, South Shields, doing very well at the minute. Infantino was such a bore, I had to turn it off. Excuse me, after 3 months. Trump's always good value. Now then, someone else that's had a hip operation like myself. Now, Lippy Jane said that she was going to have this, and I think from a hospital bed or something. We've had some messages from her. Let's have a look. Where was you, Lippy Jane? I saw something coming through. Yes, Lippy Jane, texting from the hospital bed. I was the last one in for my hip operation, still numb. Give them a great cheer from me tomorrow. Well, glad you've come round from the op, Lippy. I hope you'll be whizzing around very shortly. Normally, you're only kept in for the one night if you have the op in the afternoon, I believe, or certainly I was. So I hope you have a nice evening in the hospital and are able to get out tomorrow. Peter Andrew Burton have just scored at Brackley in the Cup. Oh, we did that. Didn't help us a lot. Dale Pikett, 2 hours I won't get back in my life after watching that on Friday evening. World Cup draw would have been a great anaesthetic for Lippy Jane, says Stephen Newton. All the best, Lippy Jane. S.E. Kent, a speedy recovery. And Rosemary Mann's in pointing out, well, doesn't need pointing out, does it? But saying that there's a certain Scott Jr. knocking the goals in at South Shields. I'll tell you what else. Did you see the ruck among the on the benches at? We've been talking about Macaulay Langstaff as always on the message boards coming back from Millwall. I mean, they're on a right run with Alex Neil. There was a right scrum. And it seemed to involve very few players. It seemed everyone seemed to have a black trench coat on, and everyone piled in the two benches. I thought that was quite. I'm not sure there's an actual punch anywhere in there, but it was quite funny for a while. I'm watching that.
Yeah, I did see it. Yeah, I say Alex Neil, like I say, former teammate of mine at Barnsley, so done well.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
He looked after
done well.
himself or not? He looked to be spending most of his time on the floor in that melee.
Yeah, well, exactly. But he wouldn't have been shy in getting involved. I'm sure about that. He's a good lad, real good lad. But yeah, he can look after himself. I'm not too concerned about him. But yeah, he's done well, Al, and done really well.
Yeah, I mean, it's a remarkable run that Millwall are on. I'm not sure they'd be letting anybody out on loan at the minute, much as we all love Macaulay Langstaff. I would think if anybody, Peterborough, but not necessarily sure they would let anyone go out on loan. So, Snell, assuming you don't go down with the lurgy tonight for the first time in your entire life,
Touch wood.
you will be at the game tomorrow with Adam, correct?
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. Say, looking forward to it. Should be a really good game. Like I say, and if we can get at them, it can send a message and really set us up for this month, can't it? 3 points tomorrow really would set up this tough December. And
we should say congratulations to Stephen Silver, my son that's monitoring the tickets. Stephen Silver, he's just got his tickets for the event. We've already sold a shed load, apparently, according to my son, who's monitoring all of this in the first hour. So get on, get your tickets for Jim O'Brien. I was having a chat with Jim yesterday, and because you remember watching him. It's a good lad, is Jim. So he's under 18s coach, Sheffield United now, Stell. They're top, apparently, of the league that they're playing in. And we've been trying to sort dates out for him, but he's doing a residential course at I was going to say Lillishall, of course I mean St George's Park at Burton, for a week or two earlier in February. So when he's done that, he's going to join up with us. I always wondered a bit, and we'll talk about this on the night next year, I always wondered whether we missed a bit of a trick with Jim and not putting him onto the coaching side when he left Notts, because retrospectively after he's left, that's kind of what's happened with Sam Slocum, isn't it? And you often made the point that within the structure of Notts County, the one thing until the appointment of Martin Patterson, there was a potential hole there with people that have played Football League professional football for the majority of their careers. I just wonder whether we missed a little trick with Jim.
Yeah, possibly. I mean, Jim was well known and well liked, wasn't he, at Notts? You know, and got a good bit of character about him as well. Strength of character, good leader in the dressing room as well, I'm sure, and a good lad to have around. Um, yeah, but again, you don't know. That might have been offered. He might, because I think he was already doing some coaching at Sheffield United, wasn't he?
It was a
While
bit,
he was
yeah.
still playing at Notts. So whether it was something they were entertaining, again, at that time, you're absolutely right. There was hardly any football experience, was there, in any of the coaching staff? It was almost virtually pure coaches, if you wanted to say, from non-league
It was
football. A
Stuart
little bit of,
Maynard. It was Stuart
yeah.
Maynard, and the two Saunders brothers were
Well, one of the
effectively, and João Alves.
yeah,
That was
and
effectively,
one of the Saunders brothers played a bit of league football, didn't he?
yes,
I think
yes.
that's right. I can't remember whether it's Matt or Craig, but
I think it
I'm
was
sure he
Craig
did.
at Lincoln. Yes, yeah.
Right, I'm sure they played a bit of league football, but not loads. But essentially, for four coaches and a head coach and three other coaches, that was a light sprinkling of league
Yeah,
experience.
yeah,
Now you look at it with Martin, Andy Edwards, Sam Slocum,
yeah.
there's a heck of a lot. It's
Yes, exactly.
universally league
Yes.
experience, isn't it? It's almost gone completely the other way. So again, whether Jim O'Brien could have been one of them, who knows? Maybe just wrong time, wrong place, and it's them sliding doors moments in everybody's
Mm.
life. Everybody has them in life, and football is no different. When you're coming to the end of your career, it's what opportunities are there at the right time, and sometimes things align, and sometimes they don't. Ifs, buts, and maybes. You can have a million of them in football, but everybody from Notts, I'm sure, will wish Jim O'Brien well. Be good to see him again. Good to hear he's doing well, and like I say, I'm sure he'll always be welcome back.
Yes, and clearly there's some of the things that we'll be talking with Jim about. I think he was perhaps a little bit surprised when he wasn't offered another contract or something or other to stay at Meadow Lane. But clearly, our loss ultimately he seems to be doing extremely well at Sheffield United and going about his coaching, getting his coaching badges and qualifications in the right way. Rosemary Mann says, "I got Jim's autograph at Notts County Hospitality game." Adam Kent, yes, and this, of course. Will be one of the points we'll be discussing. I loved it, said Adam Kent, when Jim was manager for that Grimsby game. 5-5. That's a claim to fame. He was the only
Yeah.
Notts County manager that drawn all their games as manager 5-5. I doubt there will anybody ever can equal that one. Robert Minister would love to come over from Australia and see Jim over the road. The return trip is a nightmare, though. Getting here won't be that easy, I don't think. What else have we got? Lippy James saying thank you to everyone. Sincerely hoping, I'm sure everything is going to be fine and you'll be dancing to the Village People soon.
Yeah.
I'm sure, Rosemary. In fact, I would say now you are probably more mobile than some of the members of Village People, judging by that performance on Friday evening. We mentioned the 5-5 at Grimsby. It's Grimsby Saturday. Have you got your order in for the large cod and chips yet, Stell, on Saturday?
At Grimsby on Saturday? No, not yet, but I'm sure it might come in. I'm toying with the idea. Me and my missus do the park runs around here, right? So
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
toying with the idea of doing a park run in the morning, but it depends on the weather. So I think fish and chips after that'd be perfect, wouldn't it? In between that and going and getting 3 points at Bundle Park would be absolutely perfect. Just the ticket, I can guilt-free eat fish and chips after I've run 5K.
Would
So
that
that
be
might be my
located
Saturday.
around sort of North Notts, Derbyshire, or over in Grimsby?
You what? Sorry, no. That'll be up near me. I don't know, and I'm not gonna say where that is because then people
Right.
will start looking how slow I am at me times and things. But yeah, that's it. I tell you what, some other people must do it. It's really good event, and that we've been doing it all year. So yeah, that's the thing. A little park run on a Saturday now. It's about as much exercise as I get, and it's about as far as I can run nowadays as well. 5K, but yeah, do that before Grimsby. And then a little bit of fish and chips, absolutely beautiful, and then 3 points to bring home. How about that? Perfect.
Absolutely, absolutely. Are you, with your professional hat on, crystal ball, um, are you confident or not that we are going to get this kind of monkey off our back if you look at this collective sequence of games leading up to January the 1st?
Yeah, look, I'm hesitation says I'm not that confident, obviously, but I am confident it will come off. I am confident that it will come off because just the nature of football. We are fourth in the table, right? And we've had enough games now to go, well, that's not a fluke, is it? The table is taking shape, even though it is tight. It's anybody's game. So by definition, we are going to beat some of the teams at the top, and by definition, we are going to lose probably to some of the teams at the top, as we perhaps already have done. But it is just the nature of football, and particularly in League Two, that sometimes a team on the day is better than you. You look at Newport at the minute struggling. They were favourites to be bottom of the table at the start of the season. They are bottom of the table at the minute. First game of the season, we played really well first half, first 45 minutes, couldn't score, and we end up taking a point away from them. So, but nobody speaks about we've got a bit of a hoodoo against teams at the bottom either. But I know it takes more than one result to sort of become a bit of an issue. Look, the nature of teams being in the top seven mean that they are better and they're in better form. So it's harder to win them sort of games. But I'm absolutely confident we'll beat some of them, and I'm probably equally as confident we'll probably get beat by some of them. But it's about, again, it's doesn't matter where you pick up the points in a league season or who you pick them up against, as long as you get to the number that's needed to get you promoted. And we're going to talk about maybe 80 points, aren't you? Really, for automatics,
Yeah,
70 plus for the playoffs.
yeah,
Um, well, with 31 from 18, we're not in a bad position, are we? We've got to keep that going. There's a long way to go, and we can't just focus on games against the top three,
yeah.
four, five, six, seven, whatever it is. It's the whole lot because you could beat the top six if you lose to six or seven in mid-table. You've undone your own good work. So that's why within the profession, within the game, within the dressing room, things like 6 pointers don't exist. They do
Mm,
to us on the outside,
yeah.
but every game is just 3 points. It's a chance to accumulate 3 points. You don't get any taken off if you lose, but you add three on if you win, obviously. But for some games, we all get blindsided out of it by thinking a 6 pointer, massive. This is more, this is bigger than the other one. 3 points against Newport, against anybody, against MK Dons, they're 3 points. They're exactly the same, and the points accumulate at the same way as you win and you draw. You can only go up in points. You can't have any taken off, obviously, unless there's off the field stuff. But it's about getting to them targets. It's about getting to if, and I'm not saying he does, if Martin Patton or any coach sets a sort of mantra, right, we need to get to X amount of points and sets little targets, whether that's monthly targets, or yearly targets, season targets. We need 80 points for automatic. However they do it, they won't then break it down and go, we need to beat MK Dons, we need to beat Walsall, we need to beat Swindon, we need to beat this, that. It's just 80 points. Get 80 points, you've hit your target, and that should get you where you want to go. Does not matter who you take points off and who you drop points to. Of course, we want to win every game. We want to win every game possible. But it will not matter where they get the points from as long as they get the points. And I think that's the best thing that they've done so far over these 18 games. Because again, I think we can all sort of question performance levels at times, but they've got points. They have picked up points, pretty much apart from, it's a slightly slow start, but they've picked up points since then. And we are still, I say, top of the form table, we joint top. We've picked up 20 points from 10 games. Well, as I would say, if you can get 2 points a game, that's promotion form. So over the last 10, we have, and maybe even longer than that. But you know, it, it, we've got to start beating the teams at the top, of course,
Yeah.
because you can't keep losing to them. Almost more for the message it sends. You know, it won't just be Notts fans that pick up. We've not got a great record against top 7 teams. You know, we said it early in the season, didn't we? Against Gillingham, get beat at Gillingham. Gillingham were flying top of the table, and as Gillingham do, they fell away, and they've come back a little bit in recent weeks, climbed up the table, but you know, by virtue of having a game at the weekend, of course. But it's you know, it doesn't matter who you pick points up, but you want to do it you want to do it in the next game, because nobody wants to. If you lose, that's a losing run, isn't it? A losing streak, and you don't want that to be the case. Everyone becomes doom and gloom then. So yes, we need to start winning games. You know, the person that said about 6 points from this month they'd be happy with, I wouldn't. I don't think Martin Patterson will be, and anyone inside the ground. But I do take the point that 6 points wouldn't be a disaster, because it would keep us in and about it, and arguably you could say get some of the tougher teams out of the way. But that's not the way people think inside a dressing room. They'll be looking at 15 points. That's exactly, and they won't be looking at it, but they'll be looking at 3 points each game. They'll believe they can win every game. And so you never settle. You never settle for anything. We can on the outside because we can't affect the games. But within, what I'm saying is, within the dressing room, within the coaching setup, within the club setup, they'll not be thinking of anything other than 3 points tomorrow night.
Yeah, I'm genuinely quite fascinated still how it's going to pan out this month. I'm not looking at the individual games, but as a collective run of fixtures, you know, because they're all against teams. You know, Grimsby are on a bad run; they're 11th, whatever it is. But the reality is they're still in the mix, aren't they? And I think the point from the poster earlier was we can get away with not getting that many points, and we'll still be in the top 12. You know, which still gives you a really good chance of being, well, you would be in the mix, and then everyone's going to look at what you do in January in terms of strengthening. But collectively over this period, I will be really fascinated to see if we can accumulate more points from these 5 games against teams in and around us than historically we have done since we've come back into the league. Under Martin, we stay in games, don't we? You know what I mean? We're always
Yeah.
in the game. If you look back at all our games this season, how many games can you say after an hour, we're done? I said, no chance now. We're
No.
always in the game. We're in the
Yeah.
game, which is how we got the 3 points against Bristol Rovers, isn't it? You know, in
Well,
terms
that's
of
it.
possession,
Absolutely.
battered chances, nowhere near it. But we, you know, Martin O'Neill, we stayed in the game. And I think
Yeah.
and I'm hoping that can translate a little bit, because I do see all these games being competitive and close. I don't see MK Dons winning 4-0 tomorrow, or us winning 4-0, if I'm honest with you, nor at Grimsby, nor Chesterfield, nor Walsall. But if we can kind of come out the right side, staying in a game, you know?
Yeah. Like I say, that's one of the biggest, I think, bonuses we've had this season with under Martin and Sam and Andy Edwards, that there seems to be a tenacity, a real
Yes. Good word.
grit to
Yeah,
to to
good word.
even when you're not playing well, even when the fluidity of the football is maybe not as they would want it to be, and I'm talking players and coaching staff, that they're still in the game. They still could go and not just in the game, can go and win games like Saturday. I mean, Saturday's a bit of an extreme example, having a man
Yeah.
sent off early on. But there's been other examples this season where we haven't been great. It's not been scintillating football, but we've took all 3 points. Now that, like I've said on a few occasions, in a 46 game season, you need a good percentage of that, because in League Two you are not going to see free flowing, unbelievable flair football for 90% of the time. You're going to see grit, graft, battling, you know, a little bit of sloppy football, miscontrolling, misplaced passes, long balls, heading, kicking, tackles, things like that make a game scruffy. And what you can't do is go, well, that's not our strength, and we got done by a team bullying us, or a team being a bit physical and strong, which I think on occasion we can say over the last few years has happened, because we've maybe looked to play ultimate football, if you like, total
Yeah.
football in terms of that, and we've been a little bit softened, a bit naive, however you want to term it. I think we've been a little bit easily undone at times, even though we've won, probably more games than we've lost in recent years. But I think now we've got this real, like I say, tenacity, grit, determination. It's not necessarily as pleasing on the eye to the absolute, purist who wants to see the ball on the floor and passed, to death, if you like. But there's been that evolution to go, no, we need to add some steel. And I think we've added that, and I think we've got that. Now, you need the performance levels to be decent because you can't always grit and steel and determine your way to 46 games of a season. But believe me, if you can win, if you can pick up points when you go, if we analyse the football, we weren't great. We didn't create loads of chances. We didn't, rip the other team apart and have 15 clear-cut chances and take 5 of them. We won by a scruffy 1-0. It is still the same 3 points. So the end result is the same, but obviously we're always looking for that utopia, the mix, the marriage of performance being really good, result being what we want it to be. Like I say, now me and you, and I think most people would always take, as long as the result's right, we can worry about the performance later. And that is true. But you want that performance to be, repeatable in terms of the levels of it, because you give yourself a better chance of getting the results. But believe me, there's a lot of games where you just have to tough it out. It doesn't go your way. You're not in the best form, but that doesn't mean to say, oh, my touch is off. Oh, my shooting boots, I've left them at home. Can't hear the cows up backside with a banjo, all that sort of thing. We've had days like that, but that doesn't mean you do your shift for the team and you make it hard for your opponent. And if you get a scruffy little knockdown and somebody else puts it in and you win the game, so be it. You've played your part. So that's what every individual is doing, and it's building together to the team cumulative effect that we are picking up points without. I don't think any Notts fan will say we've been scintillating this season, but we've been good enough and efficient enough and fairly ruthless at times, and nobody would accuse us of being a nice team that's easily beat, and that is a real bonus, because I think at times in the past, even the years when we've been winning loads of games, I think we have been a little bit nice at times. And I think Martin's just toughened it up, just brought a few hard edges to the team, and that's good to see.
Indeed, it is. Will Stell asks Andy Easom. He takes he takes quite an interest in your summer cricket. Will Stell still be running the quick singles in cricket next summer?
I don't think I've ever run quick singles. No, I'm hoping to, yeah, but my body is letting me down, and my eyesight is letting me down as well at the minute. But yeah, as I get older, I'm hoping to, yeah. But it really depends on my body. It took it out of me last summer, fielding and all that sort of thing. You get a bit stiff at my age now, so I'm hoping to. Yes, I do enjoy my cricket. Really do enjoy my cricket. It's a nice break.
Is a former teammate of former Notts player and former teammate of Jim O'Brien. Ian Cooks, he says, I see Adam Chickson has joined Bedford Town in National League North. Good to see him recovered from injury. Dale Park, it says Adam played 55 minutes in his first game back after quite a serious injury. Rosemary Mann says staying in the game equates to fitter players. Interesting perceptive point, Rosemary. Adam Kent, didn't know if this is right or not. Jim O'Brien was the last person to score a hat-trick for Notts. I'm trying to think whether Macaulay got one. I'm trying to think the Jim O'Brien hat-trick. I think Macaulay must have got one. Brett Jones says Langstaff got one against Morecambe.
I'm just looking through my notes here.
Yeah.
Hold on.
I think it's probably Macaulay.
Yeah, Macca got one at Morecambe, yeah, in a 5-0 win 2 seasons ago.
But yes, it's a good set of stats you've got there. You just pulled that out like that, Stel.
Yeah.
Hey? Strikers Union.
Well,
when was your last hat-trick for Notts? Can you look that one up?
Yeah, never. Absolutely never. The 32nd of April. Yes, it's the one thing I didn't get.
That's right. We've had this conversation before. You didn't get a hat-trick, did you?
No, didn't get one. Yeah, I only got 2 in my career. I only got 2. Yeah.
It's the same with Les Platt. Record club goal scorer over 100. Never got a hat-trick for Notts.
Did he not? Do you know what? I didn't know Les didn't. No, crikey, I'd have thought Les had.
Then he went to Stockport, got a hat-trick in about his 4th game for Stockport after like
really? Yeah, that's it,
years at Notts. Yeah. Yeah.
Mind you, Les will say he played in a dark time when defenders could tackle and kick you and head you and elbow you and all that sort of thing. So, yeah, it's funny. I see Les quite a bit at the games, speak to him quite a bit. Absolute legend of the game. Yeah, brilliant.
Absolutely. Jim, Dale Pikett's got his stats out. Jim got his hat-trick against Maidstone away in the National League. Was that the last game of the season? I'm trying to remember.
Could be, yeah. I think it was.
It was, wasn't it? I think it was. Yeah. I'm not even sure.
Second last game of the season. We had York at home after that.
Right.
The season we got promoted.
Yes, I do remember that. It was the race with Wrexham, wasn't it? It was the race with Wrexham, and unfortunately, the loss at Wrexham did us, didn't it? Did us. Okay, I think we're about done for tonight. We'll all get some sleep ahead of the big one tomorrow. We'll be expecting over 10,000 Tuesday night. Thank you, everyone, for your support this evening. Don't forget, lots of you have already been diving in to get your Jim O'Brien tickets. £10 advance ticket purchase. After Christmas Day, they go up to 12. So get them now. Absolute giveaway. I was reading somewhere, there's some event with the Forest European Cup winners, £30 a ticket. 30. You don't even get food. 30 notes. We're a tenner, okay? And you'll get to see Jim, get a photo, and all the rest of it. So that is Thursday, not Friday. Thursday, February the 12th. Estelle and I will be hosting the evening. Your chance to hear what Jim O'Brien had to say about being relegated, and no player said a word about that. No player said a word about that. And then the journey through the National League back into the EFL. Before then, of course, we have a small matter of MK Dons Tuesday. So looking forward to that still with Adam. Be great. Well, I won't hear you. I will dash back in the car after the game, Snenton, to hear your final words and those of Martin Patterson. What time are you on air from tomorrow?
Yeah, we'll be on from 7 tomorrow. So, yeah, looking forward to that. And then Grimsby, obviously, Saturday as well, just, as big a game as well. So it's a real good month, mouth-watering month coming up to Christmas. And hopefully we can have a good Christmas and go into the new year in high spirits.
Yeah, so I'm not sure what everyone's doing for Grimsby. Stell's doing 5K and then having an extra large battered cod.
Possibly. I said possibly, depending on the weather.
Yeah, mushy peas with them or not, Stell? I'm not a mushy peas fan. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, no, I am, yeah. Oh, yeah, mushy peas, the lot. Yeah, absolutely, yeah. If you're going to do it properly.
So, yeah, so those of us going to Grimsby, if you're outside that chippy near the ground and you see Stell huddled up with an extra large tray, big cod, chips and mushy peas, there you go. Thank you, one and all. Thank you to our official partners, JH Accountants, Trent Navigation, Big Shed and Over the Road. Thank you as always, Stell, for your time.
Pleasure, no problem. Like I say, good week. Looking forward to it. Hope everyone has a good one.
Goodbye from both of us. We'll see you soon. Cheers for now. Bye-bye.
Cheers.